Welcome to Teltech Services training videos. This video will discuss managing the CCR tree or custom call routing tree of your phone system using the CallPilot Manager. The video assumes that you already know how to get to the CallPilot Manager and that you have the user ID and password required to log in. If this is not the case, please contact us. So here we are at the main menu. CCR tree or custom call routing tree is an extension of the automated attendant. So in a previous video we set up the automated attendant to answer our phone lines after 3 rings if no one picked it up, and to play a greeting that said good morning or good afternoon depending on the time of day. You have reached ABC Widgets. If you know the extension of the person you're calling, dial it now. Press the pound sign to search the company directory, or press 0 to reach the receptionist. So now we want to extend that, and after that greeting we want to offer press 1 for sales, 2 for service, 3 for accounting, that kind of thing. And that is what the custom call routing feature is meant to do. So clicking on custom call routing, you can see it says CCR tree administration across the top, and that is really how it's described. A tree, much like the file system on your computer. When you're looking for files in Windows and you click on a folder and then you see subfolders and so on and so forth, that's really very similar to what a CCR tree is. So let's look at our reference of what we want to happen. And basically after the main menu greeting is played, which is the you've reached ABC Widgets, if you know the extension of the person you're calling, etc., we want to add press 1 for sales, 2 for service, 3 for accounting, or 4 for company information. If the caller presses 1 for sales, we want to send them to the sales hunt group, which is actually just an extension. I'll describe that more in detail as we do it. If they press 2, we're going to send them to service, which is extension 227. If they press 3, they go to another menu, the accounting menu, and that's going to have a recording there that says for accounts payable press 1, for accounts receivable press 2. If in that submenu, which is accounting, menu 3.1, option 1, if they press that, they're going to go be transferred to extension 223. If within the accounting menu, which is 3, they press 2, so 3 then 2, then they're going to go to 224. Finally, if they press 4, they're going to receive company information. Now, one thing you want to avoid, for example, in this accounting menu, you don't want to say press 1 for Bob and 2 for Mary. What happens is Bob and Mary or Mary may leave the company, and now you have Fred and Ginger, and you have to go back and then re-record this this greeting here, if that's what you said in there. So instead of saying for Bob press 1 and Jane or whatever her name is press 2, you really want to say for accounts payable press 1, for accounts receivable press 2, and as people come and go, you don't have to go in and re-record these greetings all the time. Okay, let's go back and see if we can set this up in our system. Sorry. So we need to create a tree, and right away we have some options here: a home menu node, a home information node, a transfer node, or a mailbox node. Now what we actually want is a menu node because we want to provide other options, so we want to give them a menu of options. An information node would simply have the opportunity to present some information and then that's it. You can't do anything more from there. A transfer node simply transfers the call right away with no other options, and a mailbox node would send the call right to a mailbox. And if you have very simple needs and all you really want it to do is send the call somewhere, that's fine. But most people really want to offer some options once the greeting has been played. So we're going to pick a home menu node. Here we have it here, and right away we're going to go change. And we're going to call it, what I really like to put in here is kind of a description of what actually happens, which is, say, press 1 for sales, 2 for whatever. And when I click back here, you'll see what happens. In the home menu, you get a description that really kind of gives you the beginning of that greeting. So it becomes self-documenting and it becomes easier to manage over time. So now we need to go back and actually make that recording. So again, we click on this voice just like we did in previous videos. Put your extension in here, click on dial, the voicemail system will call your intercom button. You answer it, and then you can click on record the greeting, which in this case we want to say press 1 for sales, 2 for service, 3 for accounting, and 4 for company information. So we record, hit stop, play till we're happy with it, re-record it if necessary, stop, play, okay, we're happy. Then we click on save and then close. Okay, you'll see here that this primary prompt says not recorded. In fact, it is. It's just a matter that the system hasn't updated yet till we go out and back in again. And just to verify that, we'll go back, click on change, and we can see that now it shows up as recorded. So that's the home menu node. Now if we go back to our reference, the next thing that's supposed to happen is if they press 1 for sales, they should be sent to the sales hunt group, which is 400. Alright, well, let's see how we do that. We have the home menu. We need to add, I would call that a transfer, because we want to transfer the call to that hunt group, which is really an extension 400. So we click on change again. And in this case, we want to say transfer to sales hunt group. We're going to use the intercom. You could also use, you could pick a line from the system or a line pool, or even a route if you had some voice over IP trunks between another system. You could choose one of those routes and send it to another system or an outside destination. In this case, we're going to use the intercom and dial number 400, which is the sales hunt group. Now, a hunt group is simply it exists as a phone number or an extension on the system that other extensions can be a member of. So when I send this call to 400, if I've set the hunt group up properly, everybody that's a member of the sales hunt group, which could be extensions 227, 228, and 229, if they're members of that hunt group, all their phones will ring, and whoever gets to it first gets that call. So this is kind of like a call center application, but in a much more simplified method. But it does allow you to very easily distribute calls to more than one person that's appropriate to answer that kind of a call. Okay, so now we have the home menu, which says that. Now we have the press 1, which transfers to sales. Let's check our reference again. If they press 2, they need to go to service, which happens to be dispatch at extension 227. Well, let's go do that now. So that sounds to me like another transfer menu. And you see we have the home menu with options 1 and 2, transfer, and we're going to say transfer. Obviously, I've done this in preparation for this video, so all these entries are already here. So I'm going to say transfer to service. Use the intercom again, and we said 227 is the extension that it's going to go to. Now we go back to our reference, and this time we want to send the call to another menu or a submenu of the main menu called accounting. Let's see how we do that. So well, there it is. I want to add a menu. I'm on the home menu. I have a sub option of add a menu. That's what I want to do. And you can see that option 3 pops in here, and that it's a menu item. So let's go ahead and change that, and in this case we're going to call it the accounting menu and go out here and record that greeting. So again, 225, click on dial, record the greeting, which is going to say we decided for accounts payable press 1, accounts receivable press 2. Okay, so we click on record, we make that recording, we stop, we play until we're happy with it. When we are, we click on save and then close. Once again, it does show up as not recorded until we go out and back in again. Just to double check. There we can see that it shows up as recorded now. Okay, back to our reference. Now, if they're in that menu and they press 1, we want them to go to accounts payable at extension 223. So let's see about that. So within this menu, you see that we have another batch of options here, and these options belong to the menu that's right above it here. If we were to click any of these options here, they would add items below the home menu, and we want to add sub items to the accounting menu. So in this case, we want to add a transfer. And you can see how it's dropped in below. So I clicked on this transfer, it dropped in below, and from our reference again, we want that to go to accounts payable at 223. So we click on change, and we will say transfer to accounts payable, intercom 223, and submit, and that one's done. Now we're going to add another one because we got to go to accounts receivable as well. That gives me a sub menu of 2. So you see the 3.1, 3.2, is how that works. This is transfer to accounts receivable, use the intercom, and I forget the extension, so we'll go back to our reference. We're now on this one, which is 224. It is very handy to have a reference sheet like that, so you really understand what you're doing, and it helps guide you through the process here. Alright, so we have most of what we needed there. Go back to our reference. The final item was this company information item, so let's see how we do that. So now we need a fourth option from the home menu. So again, we don't want to click these items down here. We want to click off the home menu and add an information item. So you can see that 4 dropped down, and it's not a dot item, it's on its own. So we have option 1, option 2, option 3, and now option 4. Alright, so let's call that company info. And we can define what happens after the caller has listened to that menu, and I think in this case we will disconnect them. So if they've selected 4 and they've got our address or our phone number or our fax, whatever they're after, we will just disconnect the call. If we'd selected home, it would have gone back right up to the home menu. In this case, previous would do the same, but if they were 2 or 3 levels deep, we could actually send them back up one menu if necessary. Okay, and again we would go to the voice, 225, dial, record the company information, our address is, our hours of business are, whatever you want to record there. Click on stop, play it back to yourself, make sure you're happy with it. If not, re-record it. When you're finally done, you click on save and close again. Okay, and once again, it's not recorded until we hit submit. And just for validation, we'll go back and have a look, and sure enough, it shows up as recorded. So that is, let's go back and check our reference. I believe that covers all the items that we wanted. Okay, that greeting, we've done 1, 2, 3, we've done 3.1, 3.2, and option number 4. So I believe we have met our needs there. So once we click on close, if we've done everything correctly, we see the status is okay, and that means that CCR tree is ready for use. If we've made a mistake, and I'll just arbitrarily do it here, so if I was to add, say, a 5th menu, and if I didn't make a recording and didn't put any sub items in it, it really is an unfinished menu, and the system will not let you put that in service, and you can see that it says incomplete, and the system will just not allow you to use that CCR tree till you fix the problem. So I'm going to go back and just delete that item that I arbitrarily added. And clicking close, we should be okay. All right, so now we need to put that CCR tree in service, and we do that through the automated attendant. And you can, if you remember from a previous video, our lines were down here starting at 61, and we were presenting table 1 after 3 rings. So we go to that table 1, and we can see that greeting 2 plays in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, and starting at 5, and then right away at 5 is the after hours greeting. So between 8 and noon it plays the morning, between noon and 5 it plays the afternoon, and from 5 o'clock till 8 o'clock the next morning it plays the non-business hours greeting. So here's where we add that CCR tree, and we only have one valid one, so in this case it's very simple. We just add CCR tree 1 to all these items, and that is it. The call processing will go the way we want it to. So in the morning it will say good morning, you reached ABC widgets, etc., etc. Once it finishes that greeting, which ends with press 0 to reach the receptionist, it will pass control from greeting 2 to CCR tree 1, and the caller will hear press 1 for sales, 2 for service, 3 for accounting as we record it. In the afternoon it'll say good afternoon, you've reached ABC widgets, and then end with press 1 for sales, 2 for service, etc. And after hours, of course, it'll say you've reached us during non-business hours, etc., etc., and press 1 for sales, 2 for service. Okay, so let's just click on submit so that this call processing takes, and that completes setting up the CCR tree to our reference sample. Now, one of the things that happens is well, things change, and suddenly we have a shipping department that needs to be added into that menu, and they want it to be option 4. They always want the company information to be the last item on the list there. So we have some changes to do. Now the system will not allow us to operate on a live CCR tree. We can't delete things certainly from a live CCR tree. So really what we found is the best approach is to create another CCR tree that is an image of the one we want to correct, make whatever changes we need, and once we've got it the way we want it, take the first one out of service and put the second one in service. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to create CCR tree 2, and you'll see a new option here. Because I have a live tree, I can choose copy of tree 1, and that is in fact what I'm going to do. And you can see that tree 2, which is what we have here, is a replica of the tree that we just created. Now in this case I did say that we wanted to add a transfer to shipping option as option number 4 and move company info down to 5. So if I was to simply say add a transfer, it would come in as option 5 and our options would be out of order. So what we have to do is delete option 4, add the transfer in, and then put option 4 back in as option number 5. Now one of the little tricks that we can do is save that greeting, because we took some time to record that greeting the way we wanted it. So let's go in here and just save it out to the desktop by clicking on voice, and when that comes up we can choose export and save. And you can save it wherever you want. I'm just going to save it in my little downloads folder there, and you can call it whatever you want. In this case it's called prompt.711. You can have it make more sense if you like. Sorry, my save button is off the screen there, and sorry for the number of windows there. So I have exported that, and we can confidently go back and delete this item and bring it back once we need it. Okay, and again, tree number 2 is not live, so we can do whatever we want to it. All the other options are fine, so really I'm just going to delete option 4, and I'm going to add from the home menu. I'm going to add, from this menu I'm going to add another transfer because we want to transfer to shipping. And you can see it comes up as option 4, and it is a transfer. And we're going to just say transfer to shipping. Going to use the intercom, and we'll just pretend that it's 231 is the shipping phone number. Submit, and now we have options 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we have to add back option number 5. So again, we're adding an item under the home menu, so we want to add that information mailbox back. It now comes in as number 5. We click on change, we retype company info. Maybe in this case, instead of disconnect, we'll bring them back to the home menu just for something different. If we click on the voice, now instead of recording again, we're just going to import. So you see in the middle here we have import. We're going to choose the file. With any luck, it'll go to the same location. Prompt. There it is. Click on send. It imports the file. You get a screen update. That's click on close. That item is now there, so we click on submit for it to take, and we'll just validate by going back. We see that it's recorded, so now we have our new CCR tree number 2 that is set up the way that we by adding the transfer info, and the company info is moved down to 5. So click on close, get a status of OK, so we know for sure that we're good. Go back to the automated attendant, under lines administration, scroll down to table 1 again, and change CCR tree 1 to CCR tree 2. Now once we hit submit, that structure is in place, or in service I should say, and the calls are processing under the new CCR tree. Now one thing I did neglect to mention prior, if we go back to CCR tree 2, when you added that 4th item in there, so you have 4 and 5 are different, you will want to re-record this greeting, because prior to this it said press 1 for sales, 2 for service, 3 for accounting, and 4 for company information. So you will want to click on change before putting in service. Click on change, re-record the greeting to say press 1 for sales, 2 for service, 3 for accounting, 4 for shipping, 5 for company info, and that will take care of that. Okay, I hope that makes sense. It is a lot to take in, so go ahead and watch the video again if you need to, or certainly call us for more information at 403-543-6959. Thank you.